No, Boogie, you can't even make the playoffs on your own.
By the way, why don't they just trade? They should trade the the Warriors should trade Boogie and whatever and get Anthony Davis. Why don't they do that?
Why would New Orleans do that?
Because they're going to lose Anthony Davis anyway.
Yeah.
So they have to trade him. We know they have to trade him, but you're right. Like they should wait for the Boston Celtics to come up with whatever.
Okay.
It depends on Kyrie Irving at this point. That's also what the article was saying. Like if Kyrie is now, at first it was I'm committed to Boston long term, and now it's
ask me,
and now it's ask me, and I don't owe anybody shit. Now it's like all right.
I haven't seen. I think should at least pick up the phone and call the
for
Nuggets.
AD, the Nuggets. Oh,
I think the Nuggets should pick up the phone, offer Paul Millsap, Michael Porter Jr.
Why?
Keep going.
Porter Jr., Beasley. Like they have a lot of young pieces that they could. Or Gary Harris. Somebody they have a lot of young pieces.
You need a really good first round. That's why the Boston Celtics had the best advantage. They have like these top 5 picks. But I like where you're going. I'm interested in that.
You offered me Michael Porter is like calling me and saying, "Hey, do you want 8 cars and 1 car that's been stolen?" That man got a hot back.
Listen. Reason being is last time like he was the #1 player coming out of the nation, in the nation in high school. He was. So we hope that with modern medicine they can fix his back. If he comes back and is anything like what we thought he was going to be coming into high school, that's a steal.
Do you know anybody with real back issues that have real back problems?
I mean, Steve Nash had a bad back. Phoenix kept his back together.
That's not what I asked you. I said, do you know anybody with real back issues and real back problems?
No.
Trust me, it ain't just some shit where you is just gonna magically be like some fucking Fruity Pebbles and be magically delicious or whatever. That shit is never gonna get better. Especially after you have the same fucking surgery Steve Nash had. They tried to keep him. I mean, sorry, it was Steve Kerr. I thought it was Steve Nash had the same back surgery.
Steve Kerr had that surgery.
Nash had the surgery. Nash they were able to keep him with tape and glue.
Okay, well, I mean, but still, like if Steve Kerr is your shining example of me supposed to expect you, because I think it was Steve Nash. It was the same back surgery.
Steve Kerr had that surgery when he was out half a year and Luke Walton was coaching.
By the way, don't use that as an example because Kerr's surgery was a nightmare and catastrophe, and he's still dealing with it.
Yeah, exactly. He's still tingling. His brain's still tingling. Look, the man's back is hot. I'm sorry. The back is hot. Like you keep send me Beasley and all them other guys, but leave hot back where he is.
No, yes. Because again, I think Michael Porter Jr. is not great. I don't think he's gonna be some superstar at this point. But I have no idea. But I do think he's a guy that if he gets healthy can give you 20, 22, 23 points a night. I do think that he's 6'11". He can pretty much score from every place on the court. This is the guy that barring injury was the #1 pick in the draft.
It's huge. It's
a lot of. How many motherfuckers can you say that about throughout NBA history? Barring injury, he was the #1 pick in the draft. Not
hands down #1 pick in the draft. What? Hands down?
He was supposed to be up until actually, what happened? He was right before he got to college.
Yeah, before he got to college, #1 pick.
Right, I think he was like this.
He was a preseason All-American when he got to Missouri. He was a preseason All-American.
Right, which is crazy for a freshman. Right,
got hurt like 3 games of the season. Didn't play no more until I think it was the conference tournament.
Yeah.
And he played like 2-3 games.
Then he came back and his back was hot. Yeah.
It's too risky, I think, for AD. But then again, you can't afford to get nothing back for him. But
Paul Millsap isn't something back for him. Like, have you seen Paul Millsap this year? He's not even what he was in his last years in Atlanta.
But hold on, Paul Millsap has $30 million on his own contract, so salaries will match. Also, the last year is a team option. They can decline it after this year. You get the cap space. You also can get Malik Beasley. Maybe you can get some other young guys. I don't know. I think that's a team that should pick up the phone and call.
That deal though will be there July, whatever, after they get Kyrie to sign. Although again, this whole Kyrie thing is fascinating. Why don't they just trade Kyrie to New Orleans so they get AD? I mean, the whole point is to get Kyrie and AD together, I think, right? Yeah. But I used to say this up until Paul George. If they're saying anything less than I want to be a Celtic for life, then they're gone. Like that's usually what you hear. Like they say all this bullshit, but they never actually say, until they really commit that they're not going to sign. Paul George, everyone, he's going to LA, he's going to LA, he's going. All of a sudden he re-signs with OKC. So that gave me all of a sudden my whole philosophy has had to change.
I said the whole time.
LeBron.
Yeah, I mean, you were. Even this point, he kept saying that Paul George was going to sign. Even the points he made, he said he thought that Russ was going to take a step back and try to be more of a creator, and he has been.
But you don't think it's because LeBron went to LA? He's like, I don't want to be Chris Bosh.
Yes, but no. I think that one thing is, I think that how they lost helped him to resign because I think he played horrible.
Okay.
It wasn't like Russ was the one. I mean, like Russ had the best series, but also Paul George had 7 points and 7 turnovers in Game 6.
Okay.
Also, he did had a knee issue. I think he did get surgery right after it. They were offering him like $130 million. You like just came off knee surgery. He probably felt like I didn't give this a fair chance.
Right. Okay.
And I mean, he also choked in that Utah series. He choked.
He was terrible.
There is no reason on any day that Paul George should be outplayed for an entire series by Joe Ingles. But he was outplayed by him and Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah. So look. I think that how he went out last year had a lot to do with him resigning. Also, I think that this day and age in which like small markets and you need to be in LA, I think that's dead. We have the internet. Like,
I don't know if it's dead.
I don't think it's the same as what it was 20 years ago. Like 20 years ago,
obviously, but I don't think that's dead though.
In terms of free agency, where they want to go, or what?
No. I mean, like you can't be a star anywhere. I think like now you can pretty much be.
You're right.
I think like
okay.
PG had 2 commercials on TV last year.
Did DeMar DeRozan start an All-Star game last year?
I mean, yeah, but he was in the East. When was DeMar ever really like some huge star though? DeMar was
Toronto. He was.
No, he
was a star in Toronto.
No, he wasn't.
Yes,
he wasn't some huge star in Toronto.
He's a star in Toronto.
I don't think he was some huge mega star in Toronto.
People put him and Vince Carter in the same conversation
because
he was a star in Toronto.
No, hold on,
come on, man.
They put him in the same conversation because of what he did on the court. Now we talking about stardom. Vince Carter was a much bigger star than what DeMar DeRozan was. But he was talking about what they did on the court. I think DeMar DeRozan had a more successful Raptors career than what Vince Carter did. But I never thought DeMar had some huge popularity factor behind DeMar like Paul George has. I think anywhere PG goes, he'll be a star.
I mean, look at Russ. Russ is playing in Oklahoma City. He's getting all this stuff.
No, I can't agree with that because even PG wouldn't be starting an All-Star game if the fans, the actual people that...
And he plays in OKC.
So what? When he's playing in Indiana.
Exactly. So I don't think like markets no more like have a huge stranglehold on how big of a star you can be. Even look at Giannis, captain of the East. He playing in Milwaukee.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Giannis is also an international guy. That's 2 completely different things. Even if we're looking at Luka, I guarantee you that 3 million votes he got.
But Dallas is the 4th biggest market in America.
Okay,
Dallas,
yes, but I'm guaranteed that 2 of the 3 million views. I mean, the votes he got did not come from Dallas.
But he deserved every single one of them.
No, I agree. I honestly still feel like he should have been an All-Star this year. Yeah. I think he's more deserving to be an All-Star this year over Larry, which is also why I don't like the East-West All-Star thing. I think you should just pick the best 24, 25 guys and run them out. Like if we're gonna have a secret draft every year anyway, elect 2 captains and pick the next best 22 people.
All right, well we're almost there, right? Because we're doing the pools and you can mix and match, but we still do 7 and 7, right? For reserves.
Yeah.
And that's the only problem. It's like they could figure out a way to just do it like the 14 across the whatever. Mm-hmm. That might be better. Because I agree. There's no question like Luka should have gone in over Lowry. Like that's a
he should have gone into me over LaMarcus. I mean,
what about Clay?
Huh?
What about Clay?
I don't look. I'm sorry. Like I don't care what anybody says. Klay Thompson, that team, it still exists. Like everybody love to talk about what if Steph Curry wasn't there. That team fucking exists because Klay Thompson has been there. And when he's not there, you see how they play without him.
I'm just asking.
No, he is an all-star. Draymond Green will never be an all-star again. It's over for him. It's a wrap. It really is. Like sorry Draymond, it's a wrap, bro. Like and the fucking nerve of you to make fun of Rudy Gobert when you didn't get a should I cry now. I mean shit. You damn. Huh?
What did he? How did he make fun of Rudy?
He basically posted a tweet that said, "Should I start crying now?"
Oh,
like, come on, bro. Like you were the defensive player of the year 2 years ago. If anything, you should be like, "Damn, I got to get better." Well, or instead of trying to antagonize the guy that really ain't done shit to you.
Well, he also defend him, saying like I made my name on defense.
Yeah, that's also the other thing that I don't understand about the Draymond thing is like if the reason why Rudy didn't make it is because he only is just the best defender in the NBA.
You shouldn't have been there.
Then you shouldn't have been there either.
You shouldn't have been there.
I mean, I like those 6 assists, but them 7 points ain't riveting.
No,
I'm not paying for words tickets to watch Draymond Green shoot like he got a backpack on his back for the top of the 3. Like I'm not.
And so I love Draymond, but his 6 assists are passing to Curry.
Steph and Clay. Like a lot of people could probably.
Like I said, put Draymond in New Orleans and you tell me what Draymond Green is.
I mean, he's probably 5 assists and 10.
That's who they should try to trade. Trade Draymond and Boogie.
There you go. Well, I mean, it's so hard because you're never going to get fair value back, right? You're talking about a megastar. But here's the thing. AD has always left me feeling a little hollow with his game. I don't know why.
AD is like Carlos Boozer times 15. And I always said Carlos Boozer was one of those guys that was an all-star, but all of his numbers were always empty to me because he never could get his team to win. See, including in the playoffs versus Miami. Chris Bosh used to be hoeing that man.
See, here's my thing about Anthony Davis, right? It's not like the Pelicans are terrible.
No.
They're not terrible. They're not great.
They're like, but they really get slumped, right? Even before he left, went down with the injury. What are they? They're not in the playoffs.
I mean, yeah, but guys were hurt.
They're not in the playoffs. And Athony said that they only have had the lineup that they want out on the floor 10 games this year. But still, you should be better than that.
Yeah, you should be better than that.
The guys were hurt. Okay, Harden. Guys were hurt.
Yeah. You should be, but
right?
Now, granted, the argument is Harden is a guard, so Harden can dominate the ball.
That's what we got to figure out.
They need somebody to give AD the ball.
Look, okay, how about this? Has AD at the Pelicans the last several years? They haven't in the playoffs, maybe like once in the last whatever.
Twice in the past.
Twice in the past.
We go back 6 years, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Dame Lillard, every year they go to the playoffs.
Yeah, every year.
You can't tell me the Portland Trailblazers have a better team overall than the Pelicans, do they?
I was actually thinking about Dame last night. Because I was like, because I was just thinking about Dame in terms of like, man, he really is like going to be one of those guys. Well, obviously he won't be forgotten because now he's finally getting those all-star appearances. But when we think about like the greatest guards of this generation, Dame is going to always be that guy that's like a peripheral part of the conversation. But if you look at what he's done, and a lot of people have been given this a similar amount, he's still been able to do what he's been able to do in the West. You know what I mean? Like even Giannis, I'm not necessarily sure if Giannis with a Middleton like a year, 2 years ago in the West would have been able to take his team to the playoffs in the West.
But see, here's the
Dame
argument
year after year, top 4? I mean, other than that AFC they had a couple years ago, they usually are top 5, top 6. Never gets talked about in MVP.
Here's the argument,
and they'll have huge stretches where they're like third, and then they kind of come back to earth, but like they play above their heads, which is like a really good sign of something. So either the question is it by nature, by the simple fact that he's a guard versus AD, who's a forward, whatever he is, a forward center. It's weird because AD just destroys the box score, but again,
somebody give him the ball. It's like he can't like LeBron, right? He can pretty much be the sole reason why anything happens. I can get the rebound, push it up court, pass it to whoever, go back, block a shot, do the same thing. Like AD, big men always need somebody to get them the ball.
Right.
Not granted, I don't believe in building teams around people under 6'4" usually, but I do think you always need good guard play to win.
Okay.
You have to have good guard. Like even you see in college basketball in the tournament, if you don't have good guard play, you aren't going to win.
Absolutely.
Because somebody like the point guard is probably the most important person on the team.
Which is why Duke is going to get upset this year, by the way. Duke is going to get upset in the tournament, I think.
Which is why, but I don't always think the point guard needs to be the best player on the team because usually they're just too small to affect the game in every single facet.
Okay.
Well,
unless you rest.
So yeah.
Well, okay. So here's what I think it might also be. Dame, when he attacks the pick and roll or attacks the drive, he draws defenders to him, and now he's doing this stuff. Does AD draw double teams?
No.
Right? I don't think he has gravity.
Score.
I think that's the thing. He doesn't have gravity, and that might be like. And I just kind of came up with this.
If he had a Middleton on his team, do you think that would be different though? Like the thing we've been talking about since we started this podcast 2 years ago is I think one of the first episodes, one of the first 4 minutes of the first episode of Hoops and Brews, we literally said pray for AD because it was like the first game of the season. He had like 50, 20 and something.
He had like 50, 10, 5, and 5.
And we were like, but that was like 2 years ago. We were like, pray for AD. I don't necessarily know if there are enough shooters around him. Like we've been talking about why they don't have a good small forward. They haven't had a small forward really since he's been there.
Well, you got Mirotic. Is he?
I like Nico, but Nico to me now is more of a 4 than what he was in his early days in Chicago when they ran a bigger lineup out with like Noah and Gibson, where he was more so fit to be the 3. So I think Nico is more of a 4. I think AD is more of a 4-5, and Randall is a 4-5. Yeah. But they all kind of need to share those same minutes at the same position. But it's Anthony Davis, and you don't have any shooters. You got Drew Holiday out there. You got fucking Elfrid Payton.
Shooters though, like granted, you not out there with
Etuan Moore is not blazing. Is not setting the world on fire.
But you can't leave him open. Darius Miller, you can't just leave Darius Miller open. You can't just leave Drew Holiday open. Now, granted, he don't have like.
Do you have to account for them?
Yes, you can't just leave them open.
You're not accounting for them the same way you got to account for Clay. When Clay is on the floor,
Clay is one of the greatest shooters of all time. That's not fair.
But even then, Clay Light to me, Chris Middleton. Clay Light with a better dribble package. You got to account for Chris Middleton on the floor all the time.
I mean, yeah, because he scores better.
No, I don't. It's not even that to me. He's a good shooter. He can shoot.
Good shooters.
I think I think the thing that we saw with Giannis early on in his career is that they didn't have enough shooting around him. So when the playoffs, you can just load up on him, and Giannis still gonna put up his numbers, but he's not gonna be able to affect the game in the ways that he needs to affect the game. Now Giannis has shooters around him, so when he's driving and euro stepping and taking 2 steps to get to the basket, if somebody's there, throw the ball out. Somebody will shoot. Like if I'm AD and I go to the basket, I'm shooting this fucking ball. I'm not passing the ball to Darius fucking Miller.
He can shoot.
Fuck Darius Miller. I'm taking this goddamn dunk.
He can shoot though.
I don't want to hear that shit, man.
What's he shooting right now?
That's not what that look like. When I think about people where I'm like, yo, let me surround myself with shooters. Etuan Moore, Darius Miller, fucking Drew Holiday, and Elfrid Payton aren't the guys I'm thinking about that I won't have shooters around me. I'm sorry, but no.
I was just watching the last game they were playing without AD.
The Rockets. The Rockets or the
and they had the game. They almost won it at the end.
No, you just won I think was it the Nuggets?
Maybe it's not. I'll look it up in 1 second. And I had to tell you, it just felt like not that they were better without AD. It was like this team might actually be
they lost to the Nuggets and then they lost 3 games in a row.
They beat the Rockets.
They were down 17. They came back.
They beat the Rockets.
Beat the Rockets back to back. They had to play Denver. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
So and they gave Denver a run, and they really. If Drew Holiday had played even average, they would have beaten them. And he was just tired, I guess, from the night before. Mm-hmm. So it's like, and I'm watching this game. I almost never watch like full games. You know, listening to the announcers, the whole thing. I'm always just good go back and forth. So I'm watching it, and I'm watching the whole game, and they made some real mistakes down the stretch, coaching wise. And I'm like, shit, is it Alvin Gentry? Like, how does he not know to? There was a foul they didn't take it early enough. There was a couple different like bad coaching things that really would have helped them. And so I'm wondering, like, shit, did AD just waste a couple of his years playing for Alvin Gentry?
I've felt that way about Alvin Gentry honestly since he was in Phoenix. In terms of, I look at him and there's no disrespect because I actually think that he's a
great guy. I don't know if he's a great coach.
No. I think he's a good coach, but I don't think. But he's to me is like Mark Jackson. He's a starter coach. He's just meant to kind of get you to the phase where we need a better basketball mind to come in and implement something beyond what it. He kind of reminds me of like a better X's and O guy version of Jason Kidd, if that makes sense. Like, you know what I mean, like even Budenholzer coming in, he came in and reshaped that entire offense, and even his defensive schemes, trying to guard people game by game, is so much vastly improved than Jason Kidd was. I just think that this might be one of those situations, but also, who really wants to come down to New Orleans and kind of like the top coaches aren't looking to go to New Orleans and blaze it up down there.
Hey,
so it's
kind of you ever been to New Orleans, man?
No, don't get me wrong. I love New Orleans. My family is from New Orleans. My grandmother was born in New Orleans. I've been in New Orleans. I love New Orleans. But if I'm thinking about me being a top tier coach, I'm just gonna go somewhere else.
Real quick. So here's what the 3-point percentages are. Etuan Moore 41%, Wesley Johnson 38%, but he's not playing. Darius Miller 38%, Nico 36%, Tim Frazier 35%, Elfrid Payton in the 19 games he's played.
Can you tell me how many threes a game they're taking though? If they're taking 2 or 3 games, 2 or 3 threes a game, that doesn't
3,
matter.
Darius is at 4.9. Nico is at 7, shooting 36%.
He's just not out there.
Drew Holiday is at 5. He's shooting 33. AD is at 3 himself. He's shooting 32.
All right, let me throw this out there real quick. I'm going to do a video on this.